Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Sayyid FAROOQ Hassan is back with a new episode of Sky is the Limit. Our young girls are making us proud. When I meet young Pakistani females who are excelling in their professions, who are excelling in sports, in other fields, I feel so proud. They are young, bright, dynamic and educated girls, and they are excelling at the same time. They are representing Pakistan on different international forums. That makes us all very, very proud. Today I happen to be with two such bright individuals. They have represented Pakistan in tent pegging internationally. They are also in the tent pegging women's team, represent Pakistan all over the world. Today we're going to have a tete-a-tete with both of them. So let's meet Kinza and Ayesha. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum, Ayesha.
Walaikum assalam.
So this is the first time that I am interviewing two bright, dynamic individuals at the same time. I'm not used to it, so kindly bear with me.
No, it's fine. It's completely fine.
Okay. So first of all, Kinza Farhat Said, yeah?
Yeah.
Kinza, tent pegging historically has been and is still considered to be a men's game.
Yeah.
So this is the, I didn't even know that we have women playing or doing tent pegging. And secondly, I didn't know we have a team. So can you tell us how did this happen and how did women land in tent pegging? And then obviously Ayesha will add
tent
on.
pegging is basically a cavalier sports. That is why it is, associated with men. So we are basically the first team that is selected after national trials. So it is new to us as well, because before that tent pegging was only for men, and tent pegging was not really famous in Pakistan as well as much as other sport like cricket and squash. It was mainly in the rural areas of Pakistan, mainly in Punjab and northern areas. But recently we have seen that tent pegging is gaining a lot of popularity all around the world, not even in Pakistan.
Okay.
So that's why it's getting famous among men and female now, and more female are getting into it, not in only Pakistan but all around the world.
Okay. And Ayesha, what I have seen usually in some television plays or movies, and especially in a rural setting, we see men or like landlords riding on a horse and doing this tent pegging. First I couldn't even make out what they're doing, and then I realized it's a sport. So how did you end up being the captain of the tent pegging team?
It was a very fortunate, opportunity for us, because for me, I've been riding for the past 10 years. I think since I've grown up, I've only done this sport as my main sport, and this was the only one that attracted me. And when we talk about tent pegging, when I came into the sport, me and Kinza, of course, we came into it together. It was just, just a mere opportunity for a one-time thing. And it was up to us if we wanted to take it further. Well, when we started, there was no such future for women especially. And then after we started, we realized that what if we became the pioneers? What if we start something that's that can help other people come into it? Okay. And soon after that, we found out about the trials, and it was just such a unexpected thing for us that we both got selected together, mashallah.
Wow.
And
so you didn't know each other from before?
No,
that?
we knew each other before trials.
We went on the trials together.
Basically, we started tent pegging together, both of us.
Okay. But you weren't in school together? Or
no, we have a big age gap too, but we are just like sisters. Everyone thinks that we're sisters, and we are just not blood sisters. Wow. So we started tent pegging together, we came to trials together, and we got selected together.
Very nice.
We also had our first international competition together. So basically we grew together in all of this field.
So Kinza, anyone else in your family who was in tent pegging or horse riding or anything?
So basically my father is the one who introduced me to horses.
Okay.
He got posted to RVNFC. Basically this is the main unit that provides horses, and they breed horses for the entire army.
Okay.
So he got posted there, and he had a lot of horses, and he gave me one horse to train on. So it took me almost a year. I was, I guess, 8 years old back then.
Okay.
So I learned riding from there. So it was my father who,
inspired you.
who inspired me. But obviously,
sorry, how many siblings are you?
Basically, we are three siblings. It's me and my two younger brothers, but they do not have any interest in horse riding.
That's what I was coming to. Yeah.
I've tried so hard to make them like horses, but it's just not in them. Like, I think the love for horses is just in you. You know, you cannot forcibly make someone like them. It's
Okay.
just in you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had it right from childhood, and the
There was
first
something
instance.
in me that was always attracted to horses. I always wanted to be around them, and I was always.
You were never
looking-
scared?
Yeah, no, I was never scared.
Okay. And similarly, Ayesha, you tell me, were any of your family members in horse riding or
Well,
tent pegging?
The interesting thing is, similarly, my father was the one who supported me to come into this. He did not, he's a very big sportsman himself and has very great achievements, more than me.
Which game
But
does he play?
he does every game, you know, squash, tennis, cricket, swimming, everything. But this was that one sport that he never came into. And I was the one, basically me and my two brothers, all of them started together. But, you know, there's this one thing that one person is good at one thing and the other person is not. And my interest was more in it and my brothers were not. And he saw that potential in me. And basically, after my the first tent pegging run that we did, he was the one that forced me to go for trials, because I wasn't confident at all. I didn't want to go at all. I was very much, I did not want to take this like as a career for me. I never even thought that I'll be able to do such thing. But he was the one that pumped me. And the funny thing is that after me, when I came back, he was like, I'm going to try this. And then he came onto this field. He learned horse riding in like a month or so, and he came into tent pegging. And now, mashallah, last year he ran my first national local competition in Islamabad F9 with me. And it was a very special moment for me that my father, who's the one who inspired me to come into this, he's starting it because of me. And now we both compete. He's very
Wow.
competitive.
You play with him.
Yes, I do.
So I want to get into the fundamentals and your lifestyle and all, but before that, because tent pegging is a very technical and a unique game. It's
Exactly.
not like cricket, hockey, football, which we play from childhood. This is a specialized game, and you know you have to have a special interest and train a lot for this.
Skills.
So I just want to know the basics. One, obviously, you need to know horse riding, right?
It's
Without
basic,
that, you
obviously.
can't. Then you need to have a very sharp eyesight and a mind and eye coordination so that you can hit. How is it actually played, if you can tell me that? And then you tell me, Ayesha, how do you train for it? So you first tell me what
Yeah.
the game is about. How do
So
you play it?
basically, tent pegging. There are two types of tent pegging mainly. One that we practice here in Pakistan, it's called the Desi style, where we only have a lance. So lance is basically a wooden stick, and it has a pointy edge. So
It's not like a spear,
no, it is a spear. It has a
but
pointy
a wooden
edge.
spear, not a steel one. Okay.
So you hold it from the back. You hold it from the end, and you have to uproot a target on the ground.
And the target is usually what?
It's a
like
wooden peg
Okay.
here. Yeah, it starts with, it's usually 6 centimeter. The largest one is 6 centimeter, and then it goes up to 2.5 centimeters.
Okay, depending on the accuracy and competency
Exactly.
of the game.
So you
Okay.
go on a galloping horse, and the main target is to uproot that peg.
And how far do you get the start from?
The entire length of the field, the track is 100 meters.
Okay.
Yeah, and the target is usually at 70 meters.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
get a 70-meter start when you hit it, and then 30 meters
Yeah.
for the wind up,
Exactly.
right? Okay.
Yeah. So it's like that. And the technicalities, and the main thing, obviously, you need to have a very strong balance on the horse, and it's really easy to run the horse, but it's difficult to stop it when it's running on the full, galloping speed.
Okay.
So obviously you have to take care of the safety of other people as well, not only yourself,
Yeah.
because you have, a weapon in your hand. The safety of the people is really important in this sport. So in order to make sure the safety, it's really important that you have a very strong grip on the horse.
Yeah. And what's the acceptable speed of the horse? Like I can just go on slow, hit
So
the target and move
it's
on.
almost around 40 to 50 kilometers
Is it
per
an
hour.
acceptable norm that it has to be 40, 50 or what?
Yes, it has to be a galloping horse, because if it's not a galloping horse,
Yeah.
you get a speed penalty.
That's what I wanted
Yeah.
to. Okay. And Ayesha, you can add on to how it's played and then also tell us how do you train for it?
Basically, I feel like the tent pegging as a sport, it's 80% is horse handling, and the rest 20% is your focus and the
Aiming for
target,
the target.
aiming for the target, exactly. And for me, I think it depends, the training depends from person to person. For me, it was a bit easier because I was riding for the past 10 years and I did most of the schoolwork and that all, and I was in racing before tent pegging. I did horse racing. So for me, a galloping horse and my control on that was much easier than people who gradually start from tent pegging as a sport. You want to be better at tent pegging. The first thing, the basic thing is horse handling. After that, the aim, and there are some basic skills that a person should know. How to hold the lance and that all. As Kinza said, there are two types of tent pegging, the international one and the desi one. The international one is a bit complicated. It has 4 different events. We have rings, we have lemons, we have sword tent pegging, similarly like the lance, we do it from a sword. So, and when she was talking about the speed penalties and that all, I think it's 6 seconds or 7 seconds the total time that the horse must cover the field to hit the target, and after that the speed penalties, they add up. So the training for us, we started off from our national camp basically, because before that we only had a two weeks training, and it was very much, you know, self-learned and all of that. We didn't know.
Who was the coach?
Our coach is Sir Haroon Bandyal. He is our national team's coach. He's also the coach of my under-21 team as well as our women's team. He's a very qualified rider. He's been riding since very long, and he's a very qualified coach as well. And he was the one who, you know, put us in the most difficult shoots. Yeah. He made us face all of our difficulties and all of the problems we had. And I think that if we didn't face those problems, then I don't think that we would have been, you know, we would have even came at the starting level of that.
Okay. So I'll just share one experience. You know, when I entered showbiz, I used to do a bit of acting also.
Yeah.
So I was told that you have to learn horse riding also, because you never know. When swimming, I knew.
Yeah.
So I started, you know, that was my first interaction with the horse. So I was told 2 basic things the first day I went. The first thing was that they said that you have to feed sweets to the horse, so that he gets friendly. And second thing, he said that you cannot become a good rider unless you fall. Yeah, so right from day one, I just wanted to fall so that I could learn. And unfortunately, I didn't fall. So I started with trot, and then there was a canter, and then there was gallop. So I was, you know, I did all 3. And then one day, when I never wanted to fall, I did fall. And then I realized that why he was saying all this. So I'm sure this is a dangerous sport. It's not a very, you know, safe kind of a sport, as they say, like other games, like table tennis and all. Being a female, and especially in our society, parents are very wary of their kids getting hurt, let alone girls. Did you ever have a fall, or did you ever face any resistance from your family that, no, this is a hard sport, you should go for, you know, netball, or, you know, what girls play mostly?
So as I said, I always was attracted to horses, and I wanted to be around them, and I wanted to make a career as an equestrian. So I never listened to my parents in that regard. But my father was
rebel child.
Not really. My mother supported me.
Okay.
She always supported me. My father was a little worried, obviously. He didn't want me to fall and get injured, because the injury could be really bad.
Yes.
I fell once and I fainted, and I, you know, I was unconscious for almost 30 minutes. Okay. So it was a bad experience, and obviously it takes a toll on you. And it was kind of hard for me to get on the horse again and to fight that fear and to train again. Yeah. So it was like starting from scratch, because, you know, after my fall,
you lose your confidence.
I kind of lost my confidence, as well as I evaluated why I fell, what were the mistakes that I was doing before, and what are the things that I need to focus on now. So it was like a new start for me after that, and I focused on my mistakes. I've never fallen after that, alhamdulillah.
There was only one fall.
Yeah, but you know, here is where the training comes. It's not only the run, but there is a lot of training that goes behind it. Okay. You know, a lot of school work, as we say, a lot of riding. Okay. Because it's all about balance and muscle memory. This sport is mainly about your strength and your muscle memory, and how flexible and comfortable you are on the horse. Right. Yeah. So it requires a lot of physical strength, exercise. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And Ayesha, you share your experience and also tell us that I'm sure you train on one horse. Now that horse is used to you. But when you go for your competition, you can't take your horse to Holland or America if you have a competition there. You have a new horse there. How do you familiarize yourself in a short period of time with that horse?
Well, coming to the point that about the falls and that all, I've only fell twice in all of this 10 years and that all. And I think my father being a sportsman, that, and me growing up with brothers, and I'm basically a daughter after 4 generations in my family. So
mashallah.
I think I was never treated like a girl. I was
No,
always that
like a guy.
sportsman. Yeah, I was always that sportsman child of my father's and that all. So he never really was that much conscious, and he was very confident that no, she won't fall and she won't, that, and nothing will happen. But when I fell, I remember it was before an event in Salkot last year in March, and I felt so bad. I just like you're saying about horses, it was a different horse. It was a new horse. I just reached Salkot and I went on a very random horse, and I just said, okay, what about one
I'll
run?
manage
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I'll manage. I can
I'm
do
an
anything.
expert.
And I was traveling since the morning, and I was very tired. And I don't know what happened. The horse, as soon as I went down, the horse skipped and it went to the left, and I fell on my right on my neck. And Alhamdulillah that it was such a bad fall, but I managed to stay safe somehow.
That's why you're sitting here?
Yes, I broke my, all of my back muscles, they were, scraped
ruptured.
and that, all they were ruptured completely. And I remember I got a 3 months bed rest, but I ran the other day. I had a collar on my neck, but I ran the other day.
And you started riding again?
Yes, I ran the
With
other
the
day.
collar?
Yes, with the collar. I ran the other day. I ran
Don't
2
try
months.
it at home, please.
Yes, don't try it at home. And after that, the 2 months bed rest, it got increased to a 4-month bed rest. And I
My
had to
God.
face repercussions after that, but it was worth it, I guess.
I think it's your pure passion.
Yeah, it is. I'm
For
a
the
very
game.
wild child of my parents, and I didn't tell them. The funny thing is, I didn't tell them.
Ah.
And when they came to watch, when they saw a collar, and they were like totally famished. But when you're talking about horses, in our camp, we don't train at one horse. Our coach makes sure that every time we get a difficult horse, and a different horse, and a very difficult one at that. We ride all types of breeds, thoroughbreds, desis, and desi horses, they're known to be very, hot-blooded. Yeah, very naughty. So after that, I think when we went to Jordan, it was a bit hard. The task was hard because they were Arab horses. But for me, I think because I'm used to fast horses and that all, it was a bit easier, and those were jumpy. There was some problems over there because Arab horses, their seat is different from the horses we ride there. But that is why we train on different horses during our national camp, and that is what helps us. That is what I say, that horse handling is important for tent pegging, because if you can't ride a horse when you go outside abroad, then I don't think there's any point of tent pegging.
Yeah,
And
you can't take your horse
exactly,
anywhere in the
if the
world.
horse can't run, what will you compete?
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Okay, so you know how to control the horse.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure with so much of experience, when you ride so much, then you get to know
Exactly.
the basic characteristics of
Schoolwork
any
is,
horse.
I think, that's the main thing.
That's the
is-
schoolwork.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we know a bit about tent pegging and how you people got into it, and we heard about your falls also. Where were you born, Kinza?
I was born in Karachi.
Born in Karachi. Okay, and eldest in the
Yes, I'm
family,
the eldest
like
daughter.
eldest daughter, and obviously, looking both your young brothers would look up to you.
Yeah.
Were you a naughty kid in school?
Yes, I was a very naughty kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bully one, would.
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
bullied a few kids.
And were you good in studies also?
I was good in studies. Actually, I was always very much into extracurricular activities. I was the most talented student of the year from 2010 to 2012.
Okay.
And
Which
13.
grades were these?
I was in O-levels back then.
O-level.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So I have represented Pakistan in youth festival in Turkey, which happened in 2010. I was the youngest participant over there.
Very nice, very nice.
So we went with the Ministry of Youth, and I was always into sports as well. I was the captain of my college volleyball team as well.
Okay, okay.
So I really wanted to get into volleyball at that point. I wanted to be in the national team, and I actually thought of giving trials for that. But as I grew up, horses were always at the back of my mind.
Okay.
So
That was
thing
your
kind of-
passion,
yeah, it
and
faded.
obviously this thing you had to do because of what the world is doing. And who influenced you the most? Your family, like your father, mother, your friend, anyone, teacher? Who had the most influence on you?
I think my father.
Your father?
Yeah, my parents, because they always had so much faith in me, and they always thought that, they trusted me in whatever I wanted to do. If I told them that, I'd have to, go somewhere for this and that, they trusted me, that they always had this trust in me that whatever she's doing, she knows, and she's not wasting her time. And I made sure that I make them proud, and I don't waste my time, and I don't, prove them wrong.
Okay. And you did your O-levels?
I did O and A levels, yeah.
O levels and then you did A levels.
I
And what
did.
subjects did you have?
I did O levels in sciences, then I shifted to business studies.
What did you want to do then in your life? Like, you know, everyone has
As a
I want to
child,
become a pilot,
yeah,
I want to
that
become a
is
doctor.
So my grandfather was a pilot, and he always influenced me. I always looked up to him. I always
Want to
used to
become a
go.
pilot?
Yeah, I always used to go to him, and I used to say, "I'm going to be a pilot like you one day."
Okay.
And he used to scold me for some reason. He's like,
Okay.
"No, don't. You don't have to. You don't
Yeah.
need to." But yeah, I always wanted to be a pilot like every other kid.
Okay. And so after your A levels, did you pursue your, you know, flying career?
No, I couldn't. But I got into journalism by luck. It was my father's decision.
You
but
never wanted to become a journalist?
I never wanted to become a journalist,
Okay.
but after my 4th semester, I fell in love with it. Because, you know, I felt that journalism is something where you can do anything, and you can, you know, there are so many opportunities. You can speak about all the unjust, and you have so much power in your hand, and you can use it in the right way.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's obviously now it's so much developed.
Uh,
But tell me, how did you fight your urge to become a pilot and settle for journalism?
I think as a kid, we have different dreams, but as we grow up, it's always about finding your inner calling.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
And for me, at that time, there was some, as I said, I always wanted to be an equestrian, but when I was young, there was literally no opportunity for me to, you know, I could see nothing that I could
Okay.
do as an equestrian in Pakistan. There was no inspiration, no woman doing anything in polo or tent pegging or anything. So that was like, that's not possible. I'm not going to do that. It's not possible in Pakistan. But I wanted to pursue it somehow.
Okay.
But when I grew up and I started working as a journalist, I still was trying to stay closer to horses. Like, I made my final year project about horses,
Okay.
and that documentary got a lot of appreciation on my university level, as well as, you know, from all the guests who came to my university. And
Okay.
so then I started working in the entertainment industry, and I used to have a lot of discussions with different producers and directors, and I used to, you know, have discussions about how we should make a project about a girl and how she becomes an equestrian.
Yeah.
You know, so it was something that was, you know, missing in my life.
Okay.
And I was trying to fulfill that.
So now you're a professional tent pegging
Yes,
player,
I'm trying to. Yes, I am a professional.
and you want to continue pursue that?
Definitely. So I've done a
You
coaching.
don't want to do any other job or anything?
No, I want
Your
to make
passion.
this my job, because this is my passion. This is what makes me the happiest. I feel that I've accomplished what I
And your
ever.
family is happy with it?
They're happy now when
Very
they've
good.
seen that I've achieved what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because my father was always really doubtful about it, because obviously his doubts were right. There was nothing that I could possibly do professionally.
Yeah.
And now, alhamdulillah, there is a lot of bright future in Pakistan for tent pegging and for the girls in this field,
Yeah.
that he's satisfied now, and he doesn't really worry about all
I
that.
think there are three things that I picked from you. One, if you have passion for any sport, be it any sport, you can always make it. Number one. Number two, again, if you have the passion and the will, you can convince
And
your
faith in Allah.
family and faith in Allah. You can convince your family to do what you want to do. And third, if you put all your heart and mind in something, you excel in it,
Exactly.
and you make yourself proud and your family proud.
So one thing I've learned from my journey is that obviously luck matters, but it's the hard work that pays off.
Yeah,
You know, God help those who help themselves.
yeah,
I've worked really, really hard. It's years of hard work, and if people see us now like this, it
it's
didn't
not a
come by
day's
luck.
job. Yeah. It's not
There
by
is a-
fluke that you became
Obviously,
what you
there's a
are.
long, long hard work, and
Yeah.
you know,
I'm sure.
struggle
I'm sure.
behind it.
I'm sure. Great. So let's move to Ayesha. Ayesha, you tell me, where were you born?
I was born in Gujranwala.
Gujranwala.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And you know what Gujranwala is known for, right?
No, I don't.
Food.
Oh, really?
And there's
I
everyone is a
was-
foodie in
I
Gujranwala.
was an infant and I shifted from there, so I don't know.
So
much
you
about
didn't get to
it.
experience
Yeah, I went once in, I guess, 2017 or 18
Okay.
for a month or so, but I never lived there.
You didn't experience the barbecue delights there.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I think the some sort of tittar. or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like those things.
So where did you get your schooling from?
I got it from all around Pakistan, honestly.
Okay.
I was in APS and I did my matric and my FSC from there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And you stayed in different cities?
Yeah, I stayed in different cities.
So it must be a good experience, huh?
It
Making
was
friends
a
all
good
over.
experience, yeah. I've experienced almost every province. I've studied in Gilgit too. I've studied
Wow.
in Sialkot, Rawalpindi, everywhere.
Usually kids are a bit wary
Quetta
of, you know, changing schools because they develop a familiarity,
It was very hard,
make
honestly.
friends,
Yes.
and then suddenly your parents say that, okay, tomorrow we are moving
As
to
soon
this.
as you start getting settled, now there comes a calling that, oh, we're going. So yeah, it was very hard in the start. Like for when I was a child, it wasn't that hard because you know you just make friends very easily.
Yes.
But as I was growing up, it was very difficult settling because you settle in one place and then you have to go and build a new life for you in another place.
Yeah.
So yes, it was a very big problem.
And did it affect your studies? Were you good in your studies?
I study in NUST right now, and it's one of the top universities
So I'm
in
sure you were
Pakistan.
good in
So I
studies.
think that explains.
What about
itself.
extracurricular activities?
I was, as a sportsman, I was in sports from the start. I was in the netball team. I did basketball, badminton. I played in
Debates,
regional. Yes,
dramatics?
I was always in English debate, and I won an international competition for World WHO. It was
Wow.
an essay writing competition, and I won from Pakistan.
Okay.
So yes, I think that debating and sports was the main things that started off for my personality as
Very
to,
nice.
yeah.
And how many siblings?
I have two brothers.
You've got two brothers.
Yeah, one
You're,
elder one and one's younger.
you're in the middle.
Yes, I'm in the
So you're pampered from both sides.
No, actually, I'm not. Actually, they both are pampered, and I'm the one. I'm the independent child.
And who was the biggest influence on you when you were growing up?
I think the influence, if you talk about influence, my father and my mother, both of them were the biggest support, and they told me basically that how they brought me up now. It was very, it was basically similar to my brothers, and they told me that gave me a sense of security that, you know, I can achieve what my brothers can, and that was the biggest security to me, and I think that I molded it into my motivation and inspiration.
Okay.
So yes.
And when you were growing up, what dream did you have? What kind of profession did you yearn for? That when I grow up, I want to be
Honestly,
a
I was
doctor
that
or-
kind of child that my mother used to say that every week when I ask Ayesha what she wants to be, it's a
She has a
different
different.
thing. Yes.
She wants to become everything.
I was so much, you know, my mother says that I was jack of all trades or one thing that
Okay.
every week I was like, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
So it was very, you know, diverse for me.
But secretly in your heart, what did you want to do?
I think I always wanted to go into the corporate side. I was never much of I never had that side to me that I want to be an engineer or a doctor. I had a very different thinking towards
No
life.
business, no nothing.
No, not
You wanted to do a job,
Yeah,
corporate job.
not necessarily a job. I really wanted to experience things that include traveling, to experience like much more things than just sitting at a clinic or something, or just doing an engineering or that all. I think the basic thing I wanted to do was architecture or something like in design mostly.
Okay.
But I did a very big mistake. I chose pre-medical for myself.
You did a
And-
big mistake.
Yes, I
and
did.
Why did you do that?
I have no clue, honestly. I'm telling you now that for me, I went so quickly into my career decisions that after my FSC, I only applied to one university, NUST, and I just got into it, and it was so quick that as soon as my FSC got completed, we went to Jordan, and those 3 months, that all the camp and the Jordan consumed, and after that, I came directly into my university. So I didn't have any thought process.
So even if you did your FSC, you never wanted to do medical?
No, I never wanted to. Actually, my father, he was the one that I was, as I said, that I was a daughter after 4 generations. And in my family, everyone is either a software engineer or in the military or something like that. And he was like, you're the first daughter and I want you to be a doctor. And I want that, you know, the parents, their cute little talks that I want you to treat us when we get old and that all, because
that's the
you're
emotional
gonna,
part.
yeah, you're gonna be there for us when my sons won't be. So, but they were very supportive beside this too, that they didn't want to force a career on me. That's something I'm not happy with in my future. So they were understanding about that. But I think in my FSC start, I was like, oh, it's fine, I'll become a doctor. It's easy, piece of cake.
Okay.
But yeah.
But after you got good marks in
I
FSC?
got, yes, I got A grade, 91%.
You could have gotten into medical college if you wanted.
Yes, I think if I scored good in my MD CAT, I could have gotten it.
But you took admission in NUST, and in which faculty?
I am doing public administration. I basically went into psychology first,
Okay.
and then I got it changed into public
You
administration.
didn't like psychology, you got into public
I don't
admin.
think there's much scope for psychology in Pakistan. That's why I switched.
Okay, and how long have you been in public administration?
It's my second year now. I'm in my
I want
third
to know when
semester.
are you going to change, so that's why I'm asking.
No, I'm not changing now.
You're going to go for it?
I cannot change basically now. I'm in my third semester.
They've locked you.
Yeah, they've locked me, and I'm
Okay.
fine. I'm very happy with my degree.
And is it easy to continue with you're the captain of the team, is it
Yeah.
easy to continue with your sports, with your studies?
Actually, I would say that one thing that my university has, I don't get leaves for it, or I don't get any,
Okay.
sort of off for it. So it is very hard managing the national events and that all. Even in international, when I went to Jordan, I couldn't, I missed a lot on my university. So it gets very difficult to manage at times. But when there is passion, you somehow, my father says that if there comes riding, you figure out an excuse every time.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Ayesha. And you plan to continue with tent pegging, of course.
Yes, inshallah.
And now you have a big responsibility on your shoulders. You're the captain of the team.
Yes,
You
I'm
have
also
to-
part of the under-21 team. We recently went to South Africa and we won gold for Pakistan.
Okay.
And it was a very big thing for Pakistan because this was the first time that a mixed team, a female went in a male team, and there were 4 boys and there was me. And there was this was also the first time that an under-21 team was formed. And alhamdulillah, we scored gold, 3 goals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to talk about both. I'm going to talk to both of you about your accolades, your trophies, your participation in international tournaments, and a little bit more about the game. But right now, we're going to take a short break. So, very, very interesting conversation with Kinza and Ayesha both. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back to Sky's the Limit. I'm Syed FAROOQ Hassan and I'm in conversation with Kinza and Ayesha. Both are representing Pakistan in the women tent pegging team. Ayesha also happens to be the captain of the team, and she's making us proud all over internationally. Tell me one thing, Kinza, there's one name whenever we talk about tent pegging, we hear Malik Atta's name. Who is Malik Atta and what did he do for this sport?
So basically, Malik Atta is the person who took the sport internationally. So we have an international association, it's called the ITPF, International Tent Pegging Federation, and he was one of the founding members. And there were initially 19 countries in the starting, and now there are 45 countries that are part of that association, and their main motive is to promote this game throughout the world.
Okay.
And right now they're working to make this an Olympic sport.
Okay. Wow.
So Malik Atta is the one who basically took tent pegging. He took it internationally. He used to go to England, he used to go to America, and he used to take his team there and have competitions over there. And he is the person who basically made the world fall in love with this game. And
So he's like a legend.
he is definitely a legend, not even for us, internationally as well.
And is this game acceptable globally? Everyone know about it, or
Obviously,
is it still a
people in Oman, people in South Africa, Saudi, like people love it.
all over?
Yeah, people enjoy this game because it's really fun to watch, and obviously it's fun to play as well. So
And how many attempts do you get to like pick up that target?
we only have 1 attempt per run, and
Okay.
so basically tent pegging is a very transparent sport. You get the result right there and then. It's not like polo where it's a teamwork. For us, it's one-man show. It's a single run, and if you don't pick the peg, it's like a walk of shame. It's really because you get
Okay.
the result
And
right
it's
there.
very discouraging for
It
the
is.
rider also.
Obviously, it's really discouraging because you miss the target in front of the audience, and there's no
Oh.
second chance for it.
Oh, okay, okay. And Ayesha, tell me, what are some of the challenges that you faced being a female tent pegging player in Pakistan or internationally? What kind of challenges did you face?
I think as it is a male-dominated sport till now, we all know that. The coming of us, us entering this field was a very big shock for all of the male members in this community. And I think that it was very hard for them to accept that, oh, women are competing on our level, because it's not that we compete against women, we compete against men. And that was the big shocker for them. But in the start, there were a lot of problems. But I've seen people being much more accepting towards us, especially when I went on an international competition with boys. I think that I wasn't treated difficultly. I wasn't treated differently than them. I was trained the same way. I was, I got the same opportunities as them, and it really gave an image to everyone that that this girl and those boys, they're on the same level, and what this girl is doing, the boys are doing the same. So I think that previously there were a lot of difficulties, but as we grow, and especially because of media and that all, we're getting much more coverage and we're getting much more knowledge. People are getting much more knowledge about us and the female equestrians. They've started accepting it because we're breaking the norms, the previous stereotypes of people that women can't do the sport. So I think that gradually with time the acceptance will increase.
And any other challenges that you faced here in Pakistan while training or while playing?
Yes.
Or
When we talk about opportunities, there weren't a lot of opportunities for women.
Okay.
Men got much more, like when we go to a mela, the Desi Mela in Pakistan, a national event, I think we are the only team, mostly, we're the only team of women. And it's always like this, that they're like, why are you competing? You should just run an exhibition run. You don't have to compete and that all. Because
that stereotype.
Yes, that stereotype. They think that we're only there for a show, or we're only there, you know, that as an enjoyment or something. We're not there to
not
compete.
there to professionally
And it
play.
was a very different thing that when we came into this field as a national team, us three, and there was a fourth rider. Sometimes a man runs with us. Sometimes we have another woman with us. So whenever we go and we register our team to compete, they're like, okay, we'll register you for an exhibition run. And when we tell them no, we're not going to run, it's very hard for them to accept. But I think that is gradually changing as much more women are coming out.
So are there other female tent pegging players also in Pakistan? Like, do you have to compete to be in the team, or is it just that only 5-6 players are there and they get to represent Pakistan in the team?
No, it's not.
Are there any trials?
Yes, we got selected by National Open trials,
Okay.
and it was open to all female tent peggers. There was no qualification that there's a level of experience or how many years you're riding. Anyone could come into the trials, and we competed against 30 different women from different places. And after that, the team gets selected on merit. Similarly, like when you're asking about other female equestrians and other female tent peggers, we do have other female equestrians coming into it. And I've seen that since our Jordan event, after that, because there was a lot of coverage for that Jordan event, it was a stereotype breaker. So after that, much more new people are coming, new women are coming into this. And I think that if the women's team gets formed again and in the next trials, if it was 30 right now, then it would be double to that, inshallah.
Okay, great. Kinza, I believe you've done some kind of certification also in this game. So my next question to you, both of you, was, do you have to study or keep yourself abreast of all the latest developments in this game which are happening globally? Or is it just once you learn it, then you just improvise by experience? Like in different games, hockey, cricket and all, once you start playing, you improvise with time. But you don't have to actually go and study to improvise or enhance your skills. In this game, does the same rule apply, or do you need to study for it?
So as I mentioned that we have an association, ITPF, and it's working for the betterment of this game. They're always coming up with, things that can improve a player's game, things to improve the safety of the player as well as the people around and the horses. So they have introduced a few courses. You can do a coaching course where they have theory based on the technicalities of this game, how you can improve a game as a player, how you can teach others who are new to this game. So there is a theory, and you have to pass an exam in order to get that certification.
Okay, and you did that?
Yes, I did that.
Great. That means you are actually very, very seriously into this game.
Obviously.
This is very good. So, Ayesha, tell me, what was your first international exposure? What year was it? Where did you go, and how was the experience?
You mean in the sport, or?
Yes, in the sport.
In the sport. The first one was Jordan last year in 2022, September. It was basically the first for a women's team to go, and it was us.
Did the government sponsor the trip?
Yes, it was sponsored by our federation. It was totally sponsored, and the experience overall, it was very overwhelming, and it was a very new experience because as a team, when you go and you get to, it's not like that you're on a trip or anything, but the funny thing and the best thing about it was not only the competition, we also got to explore the place. It was a very beautiful Jordan.
How long was the trip?
It was around 14 days, I guess.
Okay.
And after that, there are some official commitments, the formal dinner and stuff. Jordan was a very beautiful country, and after Jordan I went to South Africa as part of the under-21 team. That was my second international competition.
Okay.
And it was in July this year.
And your Jordan trip was the first ever in your life to Jordan?
To Jordan, yes.
To Jordan. And how did you perform there?
We got a bronze medal.
You got a bronze
We
medal?
got a bronze
And
medal.
there were teams from all over the
Yeah,
world?
there were 14 different countries. There was
Okay.
Saudi, India, Oman, and we had Britain, we had Australia, we had South Africa. We had a lot of teams.
Wow. And you were also with?
Obviously, I was there as well.
And who's the current champion in tent pegging?
Current champion right now is Saudi, and we just had Men's World Cup in August this year, and Pakistan is the first runner-up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Runner-up. And do you have a female world championship?
Yeah, we do have female championships, but it's we had a championship, but back then there was no such thing as a Pakistani team.
When is the next competition?
Hopefully by the start of next year, inshallah, we're looking forward to a competition.
So are you both training for it?
Obviously, the training is always going on.
Okay. All right. Okay. So tell me one thing, Kinza. When you came into this sport, you had this love for horses, you developed it, your passion, and you turned it into a positive thing, constructive thing, and you excelled in the sport. You came in the national team, and in such a sport which was not very well known or recognized in Pakistan, for that matter. Now seeing you, a lot of young girls would want to come into this sport.
Okay.
What would you like to say to them? Is it easy? Is it tough? Can they manage it with their studies? Is there an age limit to enter this game or play this game? What would you like to say?
So it's always really hard to, select an unconventional path, let alone an equestrian path. It had no future back then. And to make a career out of it, it was like a dream come true, and something came out of nowhere and we made it possible for ourselves. But obviously there were a lot of hard work and there were a lot of hurdles, not only, from the training perspective, but also, being a female, there's always this concept that a female cannot be as good as men. And especially riding, it's because it's a male dominant sport, it's related to power, so obviously they looked down upon us and they always doubted our skills. As we mentioned, whenever we used to go on the events, national events, they never took us as competition. But after 1 year and after seeing our performance, now they take, they respect us and they actually take us seriously because of our game. Sports is always about performance and how you perform on the ground.
Yeah. Wow.
So. Okay.
And Ayesha, tell me, is this an expensive game? Is it? I'm sure like horses would be very expensive, yes. And the gear that you wear and the stick and all.
It is an expensive game, and it is called the game of the rich. And I think it's very money consuming because the care for the horses, it's very expensive in Pakistan especially, because for tent pegging, basically it's not only about the game in Pakistan, it's also about the show, and people, they bring expensive horses, they gear it up all nice, and they like to show it. The faster the horse, the more people look up to it, and that is why people in tent pegging especially, there are very rich people coming in tent pegging internationally. What I'm talking about, the expensive part, that is in Pakistan, because people, they consider it, what do you call it, showing off of their wealth basically, and they're telling people that what kind of horses they have and that all. But internationally it's very different. All of the trips are sponsored, and your training is sponsored, everything, it is done by the government, the federation. Okay. So I think when you pursue it internationally, it gives you a lot of perks.
Okay. We have a lot of females now coming and playing golf. Golf used to be a male dominated sport, but we have polo is one game, where we have a lot of interest in Pakistan. We have a lot of polo matches, and I see now that a lot of girls are playing polo also. Tent pegging, I would say, is probably a further extension of polo. If I'm not an expert, you'd be probably in a better position to tell me. How do you differentiate? Like, is polo easier than tent pegging, or how do you go about it?
So basically there are 10 sports that are recognized by the Olympic Association, and tent pegging being one of them. You cannot really compare the game because the technicalities and the nature of the game is completely different. Polo being, it's a team game, it's teamwork. There's a team of 4, and it's more like soccer on horses. You have to goal. And tent pegging, whereas it's completely different. The technicalities of the game is different.
So you can't actually compare. It's not an apple-to-apple comparison.
No.
It's a different game.
The technicalities are completely different. But obviously.
But you did play polo also.
Yeah, before. I started off with polo. I initially wanted to get into polo because.
But you didn't like it.
I wasn't enjoying it, to be honest, but you know, that back then it was the only opportunity that I could see.
So as soon as you got a better opportunity, you switched on.
I enjoy tent pegging a lot more.
And I love the badges that you're wearing on your jacket. Can you tell us, like, what do they represent?
Basically, the badges on our coat represent the countries that we've competed against.
Okay.
So this is when we went to Jordan and we exchanged all the badges with the countries there.
It's like a tradition?
Yeah, it's a tradition.
Wow, okay,
So
awesome.
we not only exchange badges, but we exchange souvenirs as well. Like
The space is running out on your jacket.
yeah.
And so if you play any more countries, you know, it will be difficult to carry those badges. That's great. Ayesha, tell me, what are your future plans? How do you plan to take this game forward? Do you have any specific competitions in your mind that you want to participate in?
Basically about this game, the international competitions, 3 months back I guess, and after that the trials take place and there's a camp and that all. The future competition, I think I'm preparing for one, but if it comes then I'll only probably know then. Apart from that, my future plans, I think that as much as I enjoy it, I need to be much more practical in this. I will obviously pursue my degree, and after my degree I have my own plans. But apart from that, in this equestrian field, I think that as much as I can take it further, as much as I want to create more opportunities for women, because for us, basically a tent pegging team comprises of 5 people and 1 reserve, and then there are 4 playing members. For us, it was 3 members because it was the first time a women's team was being made, and they made a half section. The whole section is the 4, and they made us a half section. So we had 3. So I'm hoping that the next time a trials take place, they would it would comprise of 5 members, and consequently after that more teams will come and more competitions will take place, and the future for women in this game would be bright.
Awesome, great. Kinza, why do you think tent pegging is still not recognized as a popular game or a sport in Pakistan like other games? What do you think is the basic reason, and what is the significance of tent pegging globally?
I think the reason why tent pegging is not considered as much as other sports is mainly because it's not given the due appreciation that it deserves. The media never really covered any stories about tent pegging because the competitions are happening, you know, every month, and nobody really knows about it.
Nobody covers the matches.
Nobody, not the local events. Nobody really knows about, you know, tent pegging, that it happens here, or it's not publicized as much. It's not promoted as much, and mainly because it is considered a rural game, so it's mainly practiced in villages. But since last year, we have seen that a lot of competitions have been taking place in Lahore and in polo fields as well, polo grounds, which is a big thing because polo community was always not very welcoming towards tent pegging, as I have seen. I don't know, they see it as a rural game, that's why they're not accepting it. So now, because it has become an international sport, and we just had a World Cup, and you know, a lot of coverage has been given to it. So now people are gradually getting to know about it. Because I remember when we started and we used to tell people that we are the tent pegging players of Pakistan, and they used to ask us, what is tent pegging? It was really, you know, disappointing for us and discouraging for us. But so now a lot of people know about it, and even when the competitions are designed, they are designed in a way that more and more families come, so that it gets introduced into the general public as well, and it's not only for men to see.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Ayesha, have you ever thought that if you were not into this tent pegging, what sport would you have preferred for yourself?
I think badminton.
Badminton?
Yeah, badminton.
Do you play badminton?
I recently I am not playing any other sport other than this because it's very time taking.
Yeah.
But before this, I participated in regionals. I played nationals for badminton in my school, from my school, representing my school. It was a sport that I really enjoyed. Apart from that, netball, I played netball and basketball in my college years, and it was very good. We played nationals here in Islamabad. But I never really thought that I would, I would want to take those sports further into it, and I would want to make a career for myself in that.
Yeah.
But this was that one sport, that attracted to me, that I can do it, and I will want to do it.
Wow.
So I think that was the specific charm of the sport.
Wow. And you, Kinza, if there was any other sport that you would have gone into, what would that have been?
I think volleyball. Volleyball attracted me always. I always wanted to get into it professionally as well. But obviously, riding was something that was always back on my mind.
Okay, great. Good. It was lovely talking to both of you, and I'm sure you're going to carry the Pakistani flag high in the future competitions, bring more medals for Pakistan. And wherever you go, you know, this green jacket, this is your identity, and I am sure you know, it makes you more positive also, and it makes you to perform better, you know, in any competition. Any message before we close this program for the youngsters, for all those audiences who are watching you right now, all those young girls who are watching you right now? What would you like to say, Ayesha?
I wanted to show people that if we can, why not them? And the most attractive thing about this is that we're competing against men. So I don't think that the point of gender discrimination is there in international events, of course. So the message I'd like to give people is that if we can, then why not you? And inshallah, there are going to be more opportunities. I think that just like there's a saying that where there is a will, there is a way. So if you really have passion for it, why not just start it, and the doors will open for you itself. You just need to take a step into it, and I'm pretty sure that Allah Ta'ala will help you.
Wow, that's a very positive message. And what would you like to say, Kinza?
So I would like to say that it's always really difficult to opt for the unconventional path and to follow your dreams. But if there's a will, there's a way, and if you work hard for it, you'll be able to achieve even if it seems impossible. So you should never give up, and when you're on your deathbed, you should never have regrets that, you know, I should have taken that chance, or I should have taken that risk. That regret is literally going to kill you before you die. So I think always take that risk and keep on working hard towards your dream, and inshallah, you know, all your dreams will definitely come true.
Very well said. You know, you need to break the norms. Do what your heart desires and what you feel you can excel in, you know, regardless of what anyone is saying. And I'm sure once you excel in it, then everyone follows suit. Then no one will say that, oh, you know, why did you do this? And everyone will be proud of you. So, you know, do what your heart desires and do what you think you can excel in. Anyways, I wish you both best of luck. Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you both. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Pleasure, pleasure. With this, we come to the end of this episode of Sky is the Limit. Inshallah, I will see you in another episode with a new guest, with a new proud Pakistani. Till then, Allah Hafiz.